Hey, hello, ladies, and welcome to another episode of Business Talk. I am so glad that you guys are able to be here or at least watch the recording because we're going to talk a little bit more about insurance. So I know we work really hard on like trying to get our platforms together, get social media together, but then we have to remember that we are still running these type of businesses. Like we have to learn to take care of ourselves because that was the whole reason why we left the classroom in the first place. So I have such a tremendous, great guest. I mean, she's like another sister from another mister. Like, it's just so good how we're connected. And I definitely want to introduce you to Miss Angela because I called her Ashley when I first did this. That's how my mind is. So here we got Miss Angela Taylor that's going to help us break down this whole concept called insurance. Angela, welcome.
Thank you so much, love. Thank you, Audrey, for having me. Hey, teachers and tutors that's watching the replay. I am super excited to be here, guys. And just before I share my screen and we get into a few fun facts and intro and break down what I'll be talking to y'all about today, don't worry. If you're like, insurance, another boring insurance video, I get it. I used to think the same things, okay? So it's a judgment-free place. This is not one of those videos. Today, I'm going to be telling you guys some shocking truths that are just be prepared to be shocked as you guys are watching this on how you can use life insurance while you're still alive to help your tutoring business, for retirement, as another stream of income. And it's not even expensive, y'all. That's the thing. A lot of times we hear these things, these investment type things, and it's so expensive. Not life insurance. It's a budget for everybody. Some policies may even be cheaper than your phone bills, right? So very, very inexpensive. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this today. And thank you, Audrey, again for having me for sure. So
Yes.
I'm
Oh, I'm
excited.
excited because we're always looking for multiple streams of income and something
Listen,
other than the traditional of like, yeah, it's nice to do courses, it's nice to do other things, but why not
yeah,
have something that will be like almost like a twofold, something
yeah.
that will help us through at the same time be there for our backups.
You just said that. So, like, yes, something as a backup. Yes, that we don't have to work for. Just there, just sitting
Mhm.
there. We pay a small premium every month to have this sitting there. Guys, it's unbelievable. Audrey just said a mouthful. So, yes, you guys. So, what I'm going to do, first off, welcome. I'm going to call this the shocking truth about life insurance 101 that most people don't know about, including myself some years ago. Okay, I knew nothing about insurance. I thought it was just for when someone passes away, which that's the primary of it, condolences. But, it's a lot more to it that we don't know about. It's not on TV shows, it's not on commercials, it's not on flyers. I don't know if
It's
it'll
not
ever
even
be.
learned in the classroom, like
I
when
was
we were
going
in
to
the
say, yeah.
classroom and even those professional developments that we had to sit through multiple times when some random person came in and we're like, "We don't wanna be here.
I
We don't
know.
care, like, when's the presentation over?"
I know. That too. Yeah, it's crazy. She just said it, guys, too. Like we did learn this at school, and like she just said, those boring PDs that we go to sometimes, you know, ugh, yeah. So y'all are you're in for definitely a lot, guys. This is gonna be a lot of value today. And then don't worry if you start to feel like, wow, like I want more information. I'm overwhelmed. You'll get my contact information at the end. We could hop on a Zoom or a phone call. It's free of charge to talk about your situation and answer any questions you have. I do pick my brain sessions and I do free quote sessions with people too. So both of those. But I just wanted to give y'all just an overview of who I am. So I think that sometimes can help you connect as you're watching this today. Who I am. And then you guys can also comment, in the chat box too about yourself as I'm sharing. So here's a few fun facts about me. And as I'm sharing, let me know in the chat too. And if you guys are watching the replay, I don't know, maybe you guys could text me. I'll have my number at the end and I would love to know more about you. if you guys are in or out of the classroom, and maybe one fun fact about yourself. I would love to know. So, as far as with me, I am a past teacher, as I'm sure you could probably tell from me and Audrey's, conversation earlier. I did quit though, y'all. 2.5 years in, I did quit. Um, Shout out to all teachers out there. But I did leave the classroom. And the reason why I left was because I loved the kids and the students and teaching. It was my principal. Oh my God, he was just so toxic. I don't know if it was because the district I was in or what, but it was so many shenanigans that my blood pressure was up. I was having anxiety attacks at night, so I knew I had to make a change. I left March 1st of 2021 and I have not been back since. And that's when I started a tutoring company. Like many of you guys, I know you guys have, if you're in Audrey's membership, a tutoring business. Mine is LCB Tutoring. I'm from Dallas, moved to Chicago. I have a 6-year-old and I am married. And I put a verse here. I don't mean to make anyone feel weary if you're not like, you don't do like Bible verses. I don't mean that. I'm just sharing one of my favorites here that led me into insurance. And it's from Proverbs 3:5 that says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. That is what's going to get me into how I got into this crazy industry, but also very good industry of life insurance. And I also wrote a book, guys, about why I left the classroom. It talks about how the principal called the police on me. It gets real deep. So I'll definitely share that at the end too. Yeah, that's a real another thing that happened in the midst of that. So I'll look here in the chat. Audrey says she's out of the classroom and former pro basketball player. Love it, love it, love it. That is amazing. And Lynette, feel free to, I know you just hopped into, if you want to share if you're in or out of the classroom, and a fun fact too, you're more than welcome. So let's kind of first, guys, before we get into some shocking truth teachers that's going to really change your life. Y'all are going to be so excited, I'm sure, after you watch this. Um, but how did I get into life insurance? What you're probably thinking, like, how does that even go with teaching, right? Well, here's why. And you're going to, as I share the presentation today, you're going to see more and more like, oh, guys, I got tired of living paycheck to paycheck. It seems like I would get paid and then my account would be back low or negative, and I was getting phone calls from Wells Fargo and banks and credit card companies because I was broke. I was seriously just broke. I had no money, no income coming in. I didn't realize that a life insurance policy, when used correctly, can actually set you up to be financially free. I wanted to know I had a stash of money that was also available for my business because running a tutoring company, as you guys know, it can get costly when you want to start purchasing resources and then you have bills. And I wanted to know that I had money that I can borrow from that wasn't this long, complicated process. And then, of course, I have a 6-year-old too. She's so young. If something were to happen to me, not that I truly want to sit around and think about that, but I do have to, right? If something were to happen, I want to make sure she's secure as if I was here, as well as her college and business could be funded as she gets older, you know? So those were three top things that got me into insurance. Never thought I would have been into life insurance, but now I'm a total fan, and I think you will be too after this presentation. So I want to hear from you guys now. So first off, I'm going to tell you guys what we're going to be covering today. And don't worry about the length of this. I made this lengthy for you guys. I told Audrey in the beginning, as far as words, I'm not going to read all this to y'all. This is for my replayers that want to go back and want to watch the replay, but also read something. This is for you guys. I'll just be talking to y'all because I already know what I put here. But what I'm going to be covering with you guys today is I'm revealing all the secrets, guys, that they don't want you to know about life insurance as educators. And I say that because nobody really knows these secrets, and I didn't. So I'm assuming maybe they just don't want us to know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm going to be helping you know how to calculate and determine the best coverage for you as an educator and how you can leverage life insurance to create more income in your life, utilize living benefits, have an amazing teacher retirement that you really deserve, and so much more. So in today's presentation, we're going to first talk about some quick basics of life insurance. why you must have life insurance outside of work. That's going to get kind of scary, but don't worry, I got you. How you can have your own bank. Now, y'all going to start thinking I'm lying. I promise I'm not lying to you guys, but you can actually create your own bank with the life insurance policy to fund your tutoring company and so much more. And how life insurance can be used as retirement income as a teacher. And then, of course, we'll have some Q&A. And for my replayers, I'll have my number and contact at the end so y'all can reach me. So let me check here in the chat real quick. Never was in a classroom, have a side enrichment program. Amazing, Lynette. That's amazing. Congratulations. Love it. Okay, so now I want to hear from you guys, even my replayers. Y'all grab a piece of paper and write this down. As I'm talking about this real quick today, we're going to first talk about just some quick basics of life insurance. I want you guys to think about who are 3 people in your life that you can say by name that you really care about. If you don't have 3, think of 2. If you don't have 2, think of 1. Okay, try to think of 1. Okay, but 3 is what I say. And I want you guys to just, if you're here and you're comfortable, type their names in the chat box. We don't know them, of course, but it's okay. You know them, and that's what matters. And if you're doing the replay, just write their names down. And as you guys are reflecting on 3 people that you really care about, I'm going to get into why you need life insurance on a basic level, just real quick overview, okay? And I want you to listen to my friend T, her story from October, okay? This happened October 30th of 2021 and what her life was like without it. So I have a friend, and this is a real story. Her name is T. She lives in Mississippi. And her mom was lit. So it was her husband, they had a kid, her mom, and then her mom had a kid who was, of course, T's little sister. The girl was like 1 year old at the time. Her mom passed on this day from COVID. And it makes me feel very uncomfortable to talk about this story because I was very close with her mom. She passed from COVID. She didn't have life insurance. So, what did that look like for T and her husband and their child and her little sister? It looked like barbecues, fish fries, making t-shirts to try to raise money that they did not have to cover those costs. They were super stressed out and, of course, hurt. You know, imagine hurt and financial stress at the same time commingling together. That is enough to give anyone a panic attack. Seriously, even if you don't have any health problems. Well, fast forward to today, they just got to a point to where they were able to really just get a house and stuff. And that's been years ago, right? We know it's 2024 now because she's been trying to take care of her little sister. That was 1. That's a whole new child in her life because her mother did not have life insurance. And I'm not saying this to shame anybody at all because it's not a shame thing, but I just want to bring awareness that life is so unpredictable. It's like a roller coaster. And it's not that we want to sit and think about it, but it is a reality that we're only here for a limited time. And each of us, we have our own numbers, right? And the question isn't whether or not you can control that, but if your loved ones are protected if something were to happen. So I like to tell people to think of life insurance as a roller coaster, right? Because life is up and down. And it's that guardian angel that can protect your family in case something happens, right? And so I want you to ask yourself, thinking back to those 3 people that you care about, if something were to happen to you unexpectedly, would it be a burden to those 3 people as far as a financial burden? Or would it actually be, dang, I miss them, but at least financially we're okay? That's the question I want all of you guys to reflect on. And I'll be reflecting on it too. So I love it. Audrey says, my mom. I love that. And mama, we got to think about. So you'll be thinking about mama in this situation, right? And then for Lynette, her family of 5, you'll be thinking about your family of 5 in this situation. Love it. Okay, guys. So that's the basics of why we need life insurance. I felt like it's more personal by me telling a real story versus giving y'all a whole lot of theologies and stuff. So now, let's get into some shocking truths, y'all. Let's get into it. First off, guys, this is why we need to have life insurance outside of work. Okay, this is for my teachers. And if you're not a teacher and maybe you're just a business owner, of course, why you need to have life insurance, of course, as a business owner. But right now, I want to speak to my teachers in the classroom that's working on a job. Teacher job life insurance is unreliable. And that's what they don't tell you. And it doesn't give you full benefits. And here is why. By the way, do not call your HR tomorrow and tell them to cancel your life insurance policy. Hold on, wait a minute. Because life insurance on your job is very cheap. You're probably not even noticing it being pulled from your account. Okay, so keep that. But we want to definitely add our own personal policy to it. Okay, so don't call and delete it. Okay, let me just say that first. But here's why it's unreliable, because they end. So most group life insurance policies that are provided by employers, guess what? It ends after you retire. Well, what happens when you retire? You're going to be older. You may be a little bit unhealthier than you are now, which means guess what's going to happen to those premiums? We can still make them affordable, yes, but it's normally with the sacrifice, right? They may be affordable, but less coverage. Let's get it now. Okay. Now, before we wait till retirement, or let's at least start thinking about it, right? Let's start educating ourselves so we know what we're getting into. Now, you need to definitely check with your HR, because I have heard rare cases where people say, well, my job will let me keep it. Yes, but at what cost? You need to ask, and you need to see that in writing. Because here's the thing, when y'all get these group life insurance policies, they don't send you the packets with the information like with an individual policy, because the job has that. So make sure you know what you have, okay? Another reason why it's unreliable, number two, is because work life insurance does not have living benefits. So all these amazing living benefits that I'm about to get ready to tell y'all about, having your own bank and having money to borrow from and having another stream of income and retirement, you don't get that with the work life insurance policy because it's a group policy. Okay. So keep your job life insurance. Don't cancel it. Okay. But let's think about adding our own individual policies. All right, guys. So let's first talk about how you can have your own bank through life insurance, and that you can use this in your tutoring company, enrichment program. Maybe you're trying to create a school. I mean, maybe y'all want to go on vacation. We're teachers, we're tired. Okay. You can use the money for whatever you want. I'm just giving y'all business ideas because I know we need money in our business. And we don't always want to use the money that our parents pay us, right? We have bills and other things too. At least I don't. I don't know about you guys, but I don't. So did you know that certain types of life insurance policies will allow you to create your own bank? Now, bear with me. This is going to sound like a scam. You're going to wonder what's the catch, guys. There's no catch. The only catch is you got to be approved. How do you get approved? Through an application. The best people to get approved by are brokers. I am a broker. There's also many other brokers. You don't want to talk to people that are agents for certain insurance companies because they can only represent those products. You want to talk to people that's with a lot of different companies that can shop around for you and really get you what you need. So here's how this works, guys. There are two types of life insurance policies that will allow you to create your own bank. But first, before I get into that, let me make sure y'all even know what this means. This means that, guys, you could have, let's say, a $50,000 life insurance policy. Okay. That life insurance policy, let's say your premium every month is $62. I just made that up. Okay. But that could be a real premium, right? So you're paying $62 a month. And after 3 years of having the policy, now it can happen sooner, just depends on if you decide to pay more than your premium, but I don't want to confuse y'all. So in 3 years, that's the minimum. Well, that's the maximum amount of time. You will have something, excuse me, in your policy called a cash value. What this means, guys, is this is money that you can borrow from. This is money that you can borrow out of your policy and use it for whatever you want. No credit check. You don't have to pay it back. No application fee. No explanation needed of why you need to use the money because it's your money. So let's say you got a $50,000 life insurance policy and your policy accumulates $15,000 of cash value. Y'all drop in a chat and even my replayers. What could y'all do with 15,000 right now of extra money that you know is sitting that you didn't work for? All you did was pay the premium to protect your family, but you got the right type of policy that you could do both. Protect that family of five, protect mama, protect whatever you guys who's watching the replay why is, and also have another stash of cash. That sounds good to me. Let's see what y'all got here. I know that's right, Lynette. Vacation. Yes, a vacation sounds nice. I was thinking that time, like, okay, now I will use some probably for my business, but then I need a vacation. Invest for future businesses. I love that. And it's so easy to do that with life insurance when you know what you're doing, right? Now, guys, here's the thing about creating your own bank through life insurance. Number one, I need us to dismantle the belief that it's a scam. I know most people that come and say this stuff is scammy. This is not scammy. I only say that it's not a scam because y'all are probably scratching your head like, well, I ain't never heard nothing like this.
Right.
I know. Here's why I think. Don't quote me. This is just what I think. Guys, when you don't use your cash value, it just goes to the insurance company. And I'm not saying that that's why. I'm not trying to make anybody sound like they're doing malice things, but that's the only logical reason I can know why so many people don't know that. Now, there are only two types of policies that you can do this for, and that's whole life policies and IUL policies. Whole life and IUL, those are the only types of policies that will build cash value in the policy, basically. I know it sounds unreal. I didn't believe it either. I've had a lady who called me. As a matter of fact, my own mother. Let me get real personal with y'all. I don't want to only talk about my clients. My own mother had us a policy when we were kids, a whole life. She didn't know what it was. She just knew it was insurance. I looked on there. She got like over. She didn't want me to look at it for some reason. I don't know why. I'm gonna have to go back over there to ask her to let me look again. But it was like over 5 digits of cash value in there. I know it was over 10,000. I don't know how much, but she's had it since we were little. I know it was a lot. It wasn't 100,000 though. She hadn't made it to that point, but it was getting close of cash value that she didn't know about. She's still trying to understand it, but when I see her again, I'm going to tell her, Mom, you do know that's money you can use, right? So even if y'all get these type of policies on your kids' parents, this can be used as college money for them. That when they get 18, I mean, help them buy a house, a down payment, get them out of your hair without spending your money. You just got them life insurance. But I don't want to get it too deep into that today, but parents call me. She says so responsible. I know, Audrey. Yeah. Okay. So now, guys, using cash value, I just wanted to give y'all a real example, okay? Because I just wanted y'all to understand. So let's say there's somebody named Jane, right? She wants to expand her tutoring business by creating an online platform. And she has a whole life policy or an IUL, Index Universal Life. So let's just say, she calls the insurance company or she calls me or her broker and we three-way the insurance company to check on her cash value. And she's got $42,500 available. All right. Let's say she requests $20,000 of that money. That's her money. That's money that she instantly gets. Now, I know I told y'all earlier you don't have to pay it back, and you don't. Now, here's the catch if you don't, okay? So let's just say Jane's policy was $100,000 that she got, okay? Because she has kids, she has a large family. She want to make sure she got more than enough so if something happens. So since she requested 20,000, if something were to happen to Jane before she paid that 20,000 back, which she doesn't have to, her benefit that would go to her children, instead of it being 100,000, it will be 80,000 because she borrowed 20,000 from it. Okay, so if we want to know what's the catch, that's, I guess, the only catch, but that's not necessarily a catch. It's just more knowledge, right? So you can decide if you want to pay it back or not. Um, and how much you want to pay back. Let's just say Jane decides she wants to pay back 2,000 per year. I'm not that great at math, so Audrey, I may need your help or maybe need y'all's calculators. But if we do 12 months and then 2,000 per year, I guess that would be how much a month? Like, I'm so terrible. I'm scared to say. Would that be 100? I don't know.
But
I
you're
think I'm
paying
close,
back,
guys. Huh?
like, are you paying back 2,000?
Yeah, so she wants to do like $2,000 per year. So let's just say here, I'm gonna get my calculator here too. So let's
Yes,
just,
ma'am.
oh yeah, okay, I can do this now.
166.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're the best, Lynette. 166. Yes, ma'am. You're amazing. Thank you. And then so yeah, it'll be like 166 per month that she would technically be paying. And this is what she decides. Like this goes in Jane's budget because she wants to pay it back. You can decide to put 20 a month or nothing. It doesn't matter. You can decide to put nothing and just up your insurance. It's completely up to you how you handle that. And then if she does 2,000 per year and she borrowed 20,000, well, technically it would take her about 10 years if she wanted to replace that. Looking at that 2,000 per year, but she doesn't have to. So Jane decides she's borrowed that 20,000. She's gonna buy equipment, software, marketing, and yeah, she decides that's her repayment, $2,000 per year, and that's it. But she doesn't have to do that. So I try to explain this in a simple way, guys, but y'all give me thumbs up, down. Is this making sense?
Makes
Okay,
sense.
great. Okay. All right, guys, we're getting closer and closer to some Q&A. But next I want to talk to y'all about, so we're on part 4, how life insurance can be used as retirement income as a teacher or as a business owner. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't have much retirement from teaching because I only did it for 2.5 years. So I definitely need some retirement income. So I'll be using an IUL for that would be one of my main types. And then I'll probably have to get an annuity. I don't want to overwhelm y'all with annuities. So I'm not going to get into that today, but IULs is a great way to have retirement income. I have an IUL. My family has an IUL. They're amazing. I love them. I stand by them. I think they're the best. That is one of the most affordable things that I could personally invest in personally. And I want to help you guys know about these too. So what is an IUL? It stands for an index universal life insurance policy. So it's still life insurance. So those people I told y'all that you care about, that you want to leave something behind to, this is still money that goes to them if something were to happen, but it has living benefits. Now, the difference between an IUL and the whole life policies that I just told y'all about, because I just got done teaching you guys about whole life that has the cash value. IULs, they typically, the biggest difference is they grow more cash value that you can actually use as retirement. How do they do that? Well, they're connected to a stock, an index that's called S&P 500. If you don't know what all that means, guys, don't worry. You don't need to know all of that. But here's what you do need to know. That means that your policy, as the stock market and the index grows, your cash value grows with it. So let's say it grows 5%. You're still building that regular cash value like with a whole life, but it's like on steroids, right? It's like when you go work out, but you did the workout powder before the workout and you're like getting it in the gym. It's like that with the IUL, you know? And so the cool part is you have y'all ever heard people say, oh my God, I put all this money into stocks and I lost it because the market crashed. This one don't
Yeah.
crash. It only participates in the gains. If the stock market loses, it stays the same and it just grows normally. But if there's a big gain, boom. And with this terrible economy, well, I won't say it's getting, we got a pretty rough economy right now, y'all. Let's just be honest, okay? With this economy, this is the best time to leverage stuff like this because the S&P 500 is growing. So I know it's backwards because in our world, we're seeing eggs, that's $4. We're seeing all these crazy prices, but in the investment world, they're benefiting. So why shouldn't we? So this is the perfect time to get something like this. Now, What the crazy thing too about IULs is they also have other living benefits as well. They have it to where if you don't want to pay your premium 1 month, it will automatically pay it for you for free using your cash value. If you ever became chronic or terminally ill, I forgot to tell y'all this about whole life policies too, whole life and IUL. If you ever became ill, the insurance company will let you use some of your death benefit for expenses. Maybe you want to hire someone to come to your home. Maybe you want to get some help, whatever the case is, medical bills, they will allow you to use that money. So, one other thing I wanted to tell y'all about IULs that are really nice. They're tax free. Y'all, we taxed for everything. I don't know nothing
Mm.
we can get nowadays that's not taxed. This is tax free money. Now, you guys may be thinking, how does this work, Angela? Like, what do you mean I can use this as retirement income? Let me kind of give you guys an actual example. So let's just say you have an IUL and you're paying your premium. I'll stick with the same thing I did earlier, the 100,000 for 62 a month. You're going to grow that normal state of cash value, but it's going to also grow depending on the index that it's tied to. Now, I know you guys may be looking for specific numbers. Life insurance is one of those things I can give you an example, but I can't tell you, Audrey or Lynette, this is what it's going to be for you because I got to get your information first. And then I can tell you, okay, this is what it would look like for you. Okay. But I know for like my IUL, so far, I haven't had it for too long. I've had my IUL for about 3 years now. So right at that mark. Again, this is something that I just learned, y'all. So if anybody's feeling a little discouraged that you didn't know this, I didn't either. I just learned 3 years ago and I've been taking advantage ever since, you know. But even like mine, I'm setting it up to where so far I can get 2,000 a month in retirement income. Now, do I need more than that? Absolutely. In this economy, right? That's so I'm going to continue to pay. And the cool part about IULs, if you have some extra money at the end of the month, if you invest a little bit more than your premium, so instead of that 60, let's say you got extra 200 that month, you can drop it into your IUL and it's just growing. It's like a high yield savings account.
Okay.
So that's the cool part about it. And it's flexible. So that's the IUL process, and we're almost done with some Q&A, y'all. But y'all give me thumbs up or down. Is that kind of makes sense? I know those can be kind of complicated. Okay. Well, y'all, thank God, y'all. Most
Yeah.
of the time, I know these can be very complicated policies, so I'm trying to like simplify it.
Right. And I mean, you're doing a great job simplifying it because, yeah, it's eye opening for me.
Yay. I'm glad, girl. Thank you.
Yeah.
I can tell Annette too. It's like both of y'all are like, okay, let me. I'm glad that this is helping some guys because it's really cool and it's cheaper than. I'm not saying anything against investing in real estate and stuff, but for me, it's a lot more affordable and then it's guaranteed. So I don't have to worry about, okay, I invest in real estate property, then I got to find somebody who's gonna get in. You don't have to do that with life insurance. You just drop your money in. Instead of giving it to the bank in a savings account, put it into your IUL, somewhere where it's going to grow. So, and maybe that's why another reason they don't want us to know because banks benefit when we put money. They put it in, banks and stuff are connected to life insurance policies. Casinos are connected. So we got to get our own, y'all, so we can be connected. So let's do term versus whole versus IUL. I just didn't want to end this presentation without telling y'all about the three main types of insurance, life insurance. So we're back to the basics. I'm not going to read all this to y'all. The reason why it's so many words is just for my replayers and people who want to read for themselves later. So term life insurance, guys, that just in short means temporary. It's going to expire after a certain period of time. You can either get a 10, 20, or 30-year term. You'll pay on it on that term. If God forbid you pass during that term, your family gets it. If you outlive that term, well, it expires. So sometimes it can convert to a whole life. And then when it does expire, it's going to go up. You might be thinking, well, who would want something like that? Well, it's typically ideal for people that has a mortgage that needs to be paid off. So, like, let's say you have a mortgage, and let's say you still owe 50,000 on your mortgage, and it's going to take about 10 more years. I don't know where I got those numbers from. I'm not a math person, so if y'all calculating that, like what, just forgive me. But let's say you got 10 more years to pay on your mortgage, okay? You could get a 10-year term. So that way, if something were to happen, your family could use that money from the policy to pay off your mortgage and that debt doesn't go off to them. So this is really good for people that own a home. This is also good for people who have children that aren't grown yet and you need a lot of coverage for a lower price term is a little bit cheaper than whole life policies. They're all very affordable, but it's just a little bit cheaper. So it's very cost effective for large families too. There is no cash value. Sorry. No living benefits. Sorry. But it does what it needs to do. It protects your family if something happens. Now, you guys already know about whole life insurance and IULs. Whole life insurance, that's your own bank concept. You got a policy with living benefits and your own bank that you can use for whatever you want. For Lynette, that's vacation. Audrey gonna have other businesses going on. I know that's right. Both of y'all great. IULs, that's your own bank plus retirement. So life insurance plus your own blank plus retirement, both whole life and index universal life have living benefits. You might be thinking, well, those gotta be expensive. Let's get into some misconceptions while we're talking about that. So before Q&A, let's end with some no misconceptions that people commonly believe, including me. So don't judge yourself if this is something that you're believing. Life insurance is for when I am old and sick. Okay, you can get a life insurance policy up until age 89 as of last year. There was a carrier that does it. So, I mean, you can wait till you're older. Yes. You can maybe wait till you're sick. Yes, you can. And you may, you can be able to get something for sure. Okay, you can. So I'm not telling you you can't. That premium though. Okay. You're looking at spending a couple $100s a month on a premium. I can't tell you how much because I don't know your situation. Now, last year, I insured a pretty healthy 88-year-old woman. Her premium was $232 a month. So, if you're healthy, you could wait. But guys, waiting for life insurance is why there's so many GoFundMe's. Don't wait. Even if you got to start off with term, and then you can always upgrade it later. We can take that term and upgrade it, but start what you can afford that's comfortable and upgrade later. But you got to have life insurance. Okay. The second misconception is life insurance costs too much money. Absolutely not. Life insurance, I almost wonder, do people want people to think life insurance is expensive? Because think about it, guys. We're required to have health, car insurance, renter's insurance, but not life. We need to research, why aren't we required to have life insurance? It does not cost too much money, y'all. There's a budget for everybody. It's cheaper than most of our water bills. I have life insurance on my job. That's enough. Well, we talked about that. Don't delete it. But when you leave that job, it leaves too, and there's no benefits, and it's going to go up. So definitely talk with your HR and get your own policy so you can take advantage of benefits that your job is probably getting from your policy. I have too many health problems. I cannot get life insurance. Absolutely not. Maybe back in the day, but it's become very flexible. As a matter of fact, for people over the age of, if you're between 50 and 80, you can get certain policies with no health questions asked if you're below that age. There is health questions. However, there's a policy out there no matter your health condition. So if you've had cancer and stuff and you're about to turn this off thinking it's over for me, it's not. Life insurance is a scam. I know people that have policies that never paid out. We hear these horror stories a lot. Have y'all heard these horror stories? I know some people have, where people say it hasn't paid out or something crazy happens. Guys, policies will always pay out. The only way it didn't pay out to you is maybe the person who got you the policy weren't being honest with you, and maybe you didn't understand the policy due to their dishonesty. And I'm so sorry about that. Maybe you had a 2-year waiting period policy or something like that. There's certain policies where you have to wait 2 years before to pay out and it just return your premiums. That's called guaranteed issue. So with that being said, that's why I always say it's good to talk to a trusted person about life insurance and make sure they're reviewing your policy with you, that you're reading it, because policies will always pay out. If it didn't, it's because either it lapsed. Okay. So maybe the person stopped paying their premium and they're just saying, oh, they didn't pay out. No, it lapsed. Or, a situation like I just said. And then the last misconception, I don't know how much coverage I will need, so I will just make sure my family has enough to bury me. That's a good start. So let me not shade that. We want to make sure that is not a burden because that's thousands of dollars out of your family's pocket. And that's a lot to think about is losing you and then that. Okay. But let's keep in mind this any debt, hospital bills, mortgages, car notes, credit cards that you don't pay gets passed down to mama, to kids, to dad. It just passes down debt to family. So as you can, definitely want to calculate debt and things of that nature too into your insurance as well. But having enough for burial is a great start. So if that's where we need to start, that's fine. That's great. That's ahead of most of America. So that's okay. Now, for my replayers, you guys can text or call me with any questions, or you can reach me. My number is 210-305-2904. If you do call me and I don't answer, I'm not ghosting you. It's usually because I'm in the middle of doing something. But if you leave me a voicemail, better yet, text me. I will get back to you as soon as I can. And then this is my email, hello@peacefullegacylifeinsurance.com. That's also my website as well, peacefullegacylifeinsurance.com, because I want to help you guys have a peaceful legacy and just not think of life insurance only about death. I mean, yes, we got to think about that, y'all, but it's some living stuff in there too. So if you guys have questions and you're watching a replay, you're not bothering me, I'm not too busy for you, just text me, call me, or email me, and I'll be happy to answer your questions or help you get free quotes or understand. Um, Also, if you guys want to have a pick my brain for better understanding to know how to calculate how much coverage you need, or you want some free quotes for coverage, there's never any pressure or obligation. I have a TikTok channel and you guys can follow if y'all want to take a picture of that and the Facebook page. I don't know why my picture isn't showing up. That's weird that Canva does that. I had TikTok and Facebook up there at the top and it's not there. Kind of weird, but okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, those are my pages, and you guys are welcome to follow. I give tips a lot. I didn't do any last week, but I'm back on it this week. But I have a lot of videos up. And yeah, we can definitely book a free call to set you guys up for financial freedom and a peace of mind. So I know I feel like I talked a lot, so I'll stop here for a second. I did want to tell you guys for my teachers out there who are debating on leaving or staying in a classroom, I have a special offer for you too, because you're a friend of Audrey's. This is kind of a surprise. Audrey does not even know I'm about to say this.
Mhm.
She's like, what?
I'm like,
But if you guys have any questions, you guys let me know, and I will be happy to answer any life insurance questions y'all feel you have. And no question is a dumb question, because again, a couple years ago, if somebody came and talked to you about life insurance, I'm not proud of this, but it was my reality. I didn't care because I didn't think it applied and I just didn't know about it and it just sounded too confusing. I'm like, term, whole life, too much, you know. So that anybody have any questions?
I mean, for me, this was like eye opening because sometimes I think it's also a cultural thing. We were told as we were growing up, well, for me, my culture, for me, from my household, I'll speak for my people, the Codner clan. Um, we didn't like we knew that when you work hard, you save money and you put money in a savings account, you put money in a checking account. It wasn't until my parents got older that they were thinking about the whole life insurance, they were thinking about investing. So like that whole piece wasn't really wasn't a big thing growing up. It was just like you work hard, you get paid, you save your money, and that's about it. And I put it in a savings account. But now, looking at savings accounts when I was a kid versus savings accounts now, it's like ridiculous. Like I remember going and getting a savings account, and it was like at least 15 to 16 or maybe even 18% for just a regular savings account. Yeah.
Mhm.
And years ago, many moons ago, I used to work in a bank, and I would see people because when they keep their accounts in there, they're keeping their percentages. And then all of a sudden, they always tell us to, hey, make sure you get some people that want to do a savings account. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is at 1%. Why would I want to call somebody that's getting like 15, 16% in their savings account say, hey, you want to take some money out and put it into a free savings account? No, they're not going to want to do that.
Yeah.
And I know things have changed, but I just felt like there was never a push for about insurance a bit, except for like, health insurance. It wasn't too much of like a use it as a savings account or using it as a bank. And that was never presented like when I was growing up. And then the only time I hear of like like whole life insurance or term life insurance is like TV commercials.
Hmm.
Like that was the only time. And now it's like, oh, well, term life, no wonder, there's a cutoff. Like that's it. That's a cutoff. That's it. You can't really move things around as freely as you would as like the IUL.
Hmm.
And just learning a little bit more like this, I always felt like having a job related insurance, anything that dealt with the job, I knew was temporary, because they try to make it seem like, oh, yeah, we're going to take care of you the rest of your life. Just keep working. No, not gonna do that. There's a cutoff.
Yeah.
And as soon as you think about leaving, you need to talk to people to make sure, even though I'm sitting here saying, yes, online tutoring is great. It's helping me pay my bills. I'm able to put some money aside and all that. But everybody's situation is different, So that's why sometimes I like to have, people like Angela coming in and to have someone to talk to because I felt like I couldn't trust anybody in my HR at all because when I was in the classroom, I couldn't believe any of them because they take your information and all of a sudden you hear another teacher saying, "Oh yeah, they were talking about your stuff." And I'm like, why why is my personal business all out there? So I
Right.
just had that chip on my shoulder, and it's nice to have someone that you can talk to and to that will guide you in the right direction. That's not going to give you any filler, that's not going to give you any stuff that is not going to be designed for you. So I really do appreciate all of this and loving to know that a booker versus, get someone that does the booking except for not an agent, because most of us, I know my parents are like, oh yeah, you should get an agent. Now I know, I'm like, why? I'm not gonna do that.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's crazy too because naturally you would think, okay, I need to call an agent from an insurance company. Like
Right.
that's a natural reaction. And it's like they're great, but it's like they only can represent one company. And
Mhm.
it's crazy because that one company may have higher prices or may not offer you as much as another company. And they won't be able to tell you that because they're trying so hard to promote that company because that's who they work for and they're so tied down to it's like they might I mean, I don't think it's malicely, but it's like they can't really offer you much because they're only with one company. So yeah, it's a lot of things. It can be a bit overwhelming too, because it's almost like we have to unlearn, Audrey. You made me think everything we've been taught about money
Yeah.
to relearn a different way that actually can make more money and we don't have to be out here struggling so hard,
Right.
you know, on vacation, making more businesses. I mean,
Right.
and you could even take this money too, guys. And I mean, passive income streams, like get a vending machine or something. And I mean, vending machines, I think, for only $2,000 or $3,000. I say only, but I mean it's only if you have cash value, right? Like that's coming out of your money. Of course, that's a lot. But, and put it up somewhere and that's passive income you're not working for. So like kind of like Audrey was saying, like making more businesses and they can even be passive. Some of them passive too. So yeah, I'm thankful that you guys found this valuable and um I'll definitely enjoy talking to y'all about this too. And I wanted to kind of share one other thing for my teachers real quick here at the end. And then I'll let Audrey kind of take over here. Lynette, I'm sorry, did you have any
Yeah.
questions, Lynette? Or okay. Good. Well, I'm glad I made this simple because, like I said, I mean, life insurance can be very complicated. So I always try to think, how can I make this just sound like black and white? No gray area. Just this is what it is. Okay. Um, oh, okay, guys. See, it's not even showing up. Canva is embarrassing me.
No,
Man,
that's all right. Trust
it's
me.
okay. Well,
At least
guys,
your Canva is working. Sometimes mine's like, and I'm tired. You're like, what do you
mine
mean
does
you're
that
tired?
too. Or it'll
Right.
say I need to update my payment information and I have it on auto pay. And then that'll pop up, which makes it look like I don't know if that's ever happened to y'all. Like I'm not paying my bills or something. And I'm like, what? And then it's like, oh, then I refresh it and it goes away. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
fine. But yeah. But yes, guys. And the last thing I wanted to say to you guys, and the cool part is I'm actually going to do this. I changed it for zero. I don't know. It's on my heart. If you're a friend of Audrey's, you just have to text me and say, like, friend of Audrey's, or email me and say, friend of Audrey's, like that you're in her program. Because otherwise, I'm gonna be like, who's this? So make sure you tell me that, okay? But if you, I know many of you guys are educators, and I really want to help you guys because I understand that being in education, like, yeah, we all know how it goes. If you're a person who's wondering if you should stay or go in the classroom or leave the classroom, I do have a book called To Teach or Not to Teach. It was a collaborative book that I did with other educators. And the cool part about it is you will get a variety of different stories and tips and insight to navigate your situation to decide, should I stay or should I leave? Should I go in the classroom or should I stay away? And the good part is it's all unbiased. It's different stories from people of all walks of life so that you can see yourself and maybe one of the authors and make the best decision for you. Or if you're a teacher that maybe you left the classroom and you're wondering, you kind of regretting it, or you're staying and you're feeling like you may need to just take that leap, this is a great book for you. And just for you guys, if you are a teacher of Audrey's, all you guys have, I mean, not a teacher, but a member of Audrey's, all you guys have to do is text me and or you can email me and I will make sure that I send you guys a free copy of the book. Okay. So that's only if you guys are friends of Audrey's. Okay. Just to help you guys out. So I hope that this whole thing was helpful, guys. And if y'all ever have life insurance questions or just need somebody unjudgmental to talk to, I'm here and I'm happy to. I love doing this.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. That was so nice of you. Because I didn't
Yeah.
know about the little free gifts and stuff.
I know, right? I
Um,
said she's gonna be like, "What?"
I was like, what's happening? But my thing is like I know a lot of us are in different parts of the world. Different all different corners, which is like really every time I think about it, I get the chills. I'm like, oh my gosh, I like people from all different areas,
Mhm.
different parts of US, and then we have like India and the Philippines and Australia, and and I know that everyone has different rules in different districts, just like if we were doing taxes, because when people are talking about taxes, we all know different states, different districts, and all that stuff. But when it comes to insurance, like there is different levels of it, but please take a look. Like take a look at what is available. Some people have better insurance than us in the US because, the US will charge like, I don't know, $20 for a piece of tissue. That's why I don't touch anything if I ever go to the hospital because I know it's going to bankrupt me. Um, so
Yes.
the tongue depressor is like easily $50. Like I we were just playing with it, but so sometimes it feels like you should bring your own stuff when you go to the hospital. But to definitely take a look to see what everyone's area is doing for insurance and what are you doing to basically kind of help and assist yourself to make sure because when we're in the classroom we just trusted that everyone was going to do this. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get my teacher pension and that's it.
Right.
Okay, after I slaved myself for like 30 plus years, they're going to take care of me. They're not going to take care of you. Once you close it out, unless you roll it over into something and some kind of investment, you try to cash it out right away. I know here in Maryland, they're going to take 40% off I would send 40% out for feds and 10% for state. So like half of my money is going to be gone. And when you really stop and take a look at it, like mine is still rolling over, but when you take a look at it, sometimes it makes you feel some type of way like, do you mean to tell me I spent 30 plus years? For me, it was 18 years, and I'm only worth $110,000. And I know I can easily spend just to live around that much for what, 2 years, maybe if I push it. And that's
Mhm.
just me. I don't have any children. I don't have a dog. I have a crazy cat that's outside being doing cat stuff. And but I don't have a husband. It's just me. So sometimes I just feel like this is a part of the whole journey of being an entrepreneur. Like, don't just keep working to make some money to help pay bills. Unless you have a significant other that's paying majority of the stuff and you're just doing this just to kind of help and assist or maybe to pay for vacations, that's fine. If it's a hobby, if it's this, whatever it is, but no matter what, just make sure that you're taking care of yourself. So I just wanted everyone to kind of know that there's so many things. And of course, we were also talking about people with the medical insurance. So we're going to try to hook up with a couple of people and have them present about medical insurance. So we want to start off with health insurance, and then we're going to talk a little bit about social media. That's going to be next month's. And then the month after that, I'm going to see if I can get someone that's going to talk about medical benefits, as we're working during the summer to help make sure that we're okay for the next school year.
Right.
So, trying to do all this, trying to make sure you're here. And thank you so much, Angela, for coming. I greatly appreciate you. Lynette, thank you for coming in. But is there anything, because Lynette, I don't want to cut you off, but is there anything that was just like, you know what? I want to share my 2 cents with this, or I'm good. I knew this already. Or
I have term life. I've had it since my oldest child was 6 months. So we've had ours for 17 years now. So my oldest child is 17. Um, and so yes, I totally believe in the term life. It's it. My husband uh, was diagnosed colon cancer about 7 years ago. And the one thing that was like grateful was that we have term life for both of us.
Right.
So I think for us, it was even though he's a stay home or I'm a stay home or whatever, whoever's a stay home, the idea is if somebody was to pass, make
Mhm.
sure the house is paid. You don't want the other person to go get a job and put the kids in daycare. So that was the other reason. I'm happy that Angela got it since your child are young. So I'm happy that you're spreading the word and just you don't know what's going to happen. You just don't know. And that was the one relief that we had. He's still alive. He's a recovering cancer survivor, but that was the one thing that was helpful to know that if something was to happen to him, we would be okay. Like I wouldn't have to put our kids into daycare and then I would have to slave away at a job and never see my kids and so forth. So having that peace of mind, we are very diligent in paying our life insurance, our term life, and we have it until I think we're 60 or whatever. I didn't know though that we can get it when we're 80. I don't know if we're going to need it, but yes, we're about halfway done. My kids are older now and hopefully they'll be productive and they won't need our life insurance, but it is there as a safety net and I appreciate this talk. Like it's good that people should know. I'm
Yeah.
just so I didn't know about the IUL. I think that's a new one for me. Yeah, IUL, that's a new one. We did do the whole life when we were young and then we just didn't see back in the day we didn't see a benefit. Don't forget I'm older. So I'm sure now it's better.
Mm.
Um, but for us, we're good with with the term. I'm gonna look into the IUL. We'll see. I don't know. So, but yeah, that's my 2 cents. And if you have a family and you have kids, get enough for both of you.
Mhm.
Definitely. That's
Well
so
said.
good though. And I love that you said that, Lynette, about just the fact of having a family and kids,
Yeah,
how beneficial term is because you can get the most amount, for
yeah,
less. It's
yeah,
so good for kids and like you were saying, the house and not having to pay for daycare. I
yeah,
mean, all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
It's so true and it's so real. And a lot of people, I love that you spoke on that because there are so many people that I see on social media shading term life insurance, like making it sound like it's bad. And I'm like,
Yeah.
guys, you're misleading people because if you have children and you have a mortgage and you have a
Hmm.
spouse and you have all
Yeah.
these things and your kids are not old enough to take care of themselves,
Yeah.
what? You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like that's good, to have that. You can
Yeah.
always add stuff to it if you choose to, but that is an amazing policy to have. So I'm glad that you said that too. Because it's a
Yeah.
lot of shade towards term policies, I hear.
Yeah, and it is too bad, but it is more affordable, even though
Yeah.
it's not, it doesn't happen, and anything happens, if nothing happens and we live to like wherever to our, that's fine, but it's the safety net to making sure that the kids were well, that
Yeah.
my, if somebody was to pass, we were not going to be homeless and so forth.
Mhm.
So, and I think I had an argument with a friend of mine. His wife, so we're computer programmers. His wife was a stay home, and he didn't put a life insurance on her. And it's like, if something happens to her, you're gonna have to put, and he just didn't see it. And I'm like, as a partnership, as a family, you should both have it, so you guys don't,
Mhm.
because dealing with death in the family so close and so forth and so forth, it was just, it's tough.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
but yeah, no, I'm happy we're talking about it. I'm happy to share my, I've had mine for 17 years now. So
Good.
um yeah, when my first child, it was when my first child, and I'm like, you know what, we gotta make sure we have our, I'm not financially sound or nothing like that, but it was just one of those things that you don't know what would happen. You just don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
You could walk down the street, somebody could die, whatever. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
That
So,
is so good.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm,
Because it was nice to have the insurance, like when my dad passed, and
yeah,
the just seeing the medical bills, and he
yeah.
was in the hospital for, I want to say, like 3 months before he passed, and to get that medical bill at the end, we
Mm-hmm.
were both like, what? And then you have to deal with burial. Well,
Mm-hmm.
he got cremated, but still, that's like the cheaper option of what, $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that you did mention is that GoFundMe. And for me, I've lost a good 5 students in the last 4 to 6 years to, like, gun violence and suicide and all that stuff. And every time I turn around, it's a GoFundMe,
Mm-hmm.
just to pay for the burial. And I'm like, what's
Mhm.
going on? And a kid's house got burned down. This is like about 4 years ago. And I was just like, oh, okay. So did you get renter's insurance? They were like, what's that? And I'm like,
Mm.
dude, that was like $14 a month,
Yeah.
some maybe even cheaper. But that's what I was trying to say. Like, sometimes it's a cultural thing because no one talks about that in, like,
Mm.
some, especially some of the inner cities. No one's sitting there talking about insurance. They're just like, look, I just try to hustle and flow and make my money so I can get some sneakers and all this other stuff. And they're just like, I just want to get Gucci this and Gucci that. But yet you're not protective. Like, if your kid gets injured, or if you have someone, like you said, that just all of a sudden gets injured, it's nice to have that safety net, because you never realized how much, when things hit, like, you're thinking like, I'm alive and I'm ready to just go and do stuff, but you never know what happens.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it really paid. Like, when I say thousands, like almost 100K
Hmm.
for 3 months in a hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, the caveat: life insurance, don't commit suicide because you don't get anything out of
You
that.
don't get anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So you
true.
have to be
Yeah.
careful.
And that's
Um,
why they're
mhm.
GoFundMe's, and it was
Yeah.
just like, why? All of a sudden, like GoFundMe is getting a percentage, so obviously they're just happy as a lark. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, they're
Hmm.
using GoFundMe for everything. But mm,
Yeah. That
Yeah.
is so true. I actually just had the GoFundMe. I donated to one of my parents'
Hmm.
GoFundMe's because she lost her nephew. He was 31 or 2. He had cancer and it just got out of control.
Hmm.
And I just recently, probably last month, donated to their GoFundMe and they were just devastated. I mean, they got it paid now, but trying to come up with that kind of money. And then I've even seen it on the other end. I know a lady who her husband passed and she had twin little boys. And she hasn't had to work for 5 years because he left her so much insurance. And she's
Hmm.
been able to hire nannies.
Hmm.
I mean, the
Exactly.
same standard of life as if he was here. Of course, and hired therapists. She needed therapy. I mean, she lost her husband
Hmm.
and she hasn't worked in over 5 years and she's still living off that policy.
Hmm.
I need to ask her how much did he leave her? But I mean, yeah. I've seen it on both ends. People that didn't, like you guys said, with like Audrey was saying with the GoFundMe's, and then like Lynette was saying, making sure they have over enough for just the same quality of life.
Hmm.
mm,
Yeah.
So
it's
yeah.
worth it. Well, thank you so much. And again, guys, if you have any questions, we're gonna have our information on there, and also watch the replay, and really connect. That's the whole premise of this.
Yes.
That's the whole premise why we do the business talk. So we're really trying to talk
Yeah.
on all the background things, the things that a lot of other programs don't generally talk about. So if there's something that you're like, oh, I wish you can meet someone that does this, go ahead and share that with me. And trust me, I'll hunt people down because I'm always finding people. We found each other on TikTok. So like you
Really.
never know. And that's what it is. It's all about collaborating and just, reaching out. So, again, thank you so much for being here. And I will see you guys at the next one. Oh, and don't forget that this coming Saturday is going to be another collab work day. So, I will definitely put an event out there. So, if you want to come and do that. All right. See ya.